All right, Craig, take it away.
Well, hello and welcome to TL News Night, where we bring you the latest library news each month, and this month is no exception. It's going to be a lot of fun, but there goes my lower third. I'm Craig Seasholes out in Seattle, Washington, where I'm an elementary teacher librarian. Take it away, Nikki.
Okay, and I am Nikki Robertson over on the other coast in Alabama. I'm a high school librarian at James Clemens High School, and we have about 7 more days of school left. Sherry.
Well, I don't have a coast to talk about. I'm coming to you from Indiana, so we are landlocked, and I'm a K through 12 library and instructional technology specialist in Rossville, Indiana, and we also have 7 days left of school, and I'll pass the mic over to Alyssa.
Alyssa, actually, her computer just quit, so she's going to log back in.
Take it, Shannon.
I am Shannon Miller, and tonight I'm actually here in Iowa, and I was a teacher librarian, K-12, and so I have a lot to relate to, and now I consult and help other teacher librarians and educators around the country. So super happy to see all of these good friends here for our last TL chat this year. And Alyssa will be back. She had to restart her computer. So once she is, then we'll have her pick up too. And now I need to pass it to whom? To Jane.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane Lofton. I'm a teacher librarian at Maricosta High School in Manhattan Beach in California, so I'm back to the West Coast with Craig. And we have about 5 weeks left of school. But it'll still be over before I know it, I know. So who are we going to next? Back to Nikki?
Sure. I tell you what, let's go ahead and go over the mission. If this is your first time tuning in to TL News Night, I'm going to do a quick little screen share, and we're all going to hold our breath since technology wants to be hinky today. And I'm going to take you over and go over this, so y'all holler if you can't see it. But tonight we are going to be talking about ISTE Librarians Network and what is ISTE and how you can get involved as a librarian. And our official hashtag tonight, if you want to ask questions during the show, is TL Chat. But also know that we do have a question and answer box. You just click on the video itself, and it will bring up the question and answer box so that if you want to ask questions that way instead of Twitter, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Either way will work. The purpose of our show is to share library news with all of you, not only across the country but around the world, so that we can help each other, because we are in a very lonely position where sometimes we're the only somebody in our school who knows what it is that we do, and so it gives us a great way to connect and share library news. Plus, if you don't like the way media detects us, we're the media now, and we're going to tell the stories that the world needs to hear. We want you to join our TL News Night Superstar map. You can see here each place you see a play button is a different state that has participated or a different topic we have covered. We want you to join in this. This is a tiny link or a tiny URL that you can sign up to be a special guest for TL News Night for next season, because this is our last show for this school year season. But we want to go ahead and start lining up our guests for next season so that your school library association can join this awesome map. And with that said, I'm going to get out of the screen share, and we're going to get this thing started because we're not here to do all this. So I'm excited. I'm going to pass this over to Sherry because she is our president of ISTE Lib, and let her talk to you and introduce our guest.
Okay, so yeah, tonight it's kind of an interesting night that I don't just get to be an anchor. I get to be part of the guest crew. So I am the current president of ISTE Librarians Network, and we actually change presidency at our breakfast each year at the end of our ISTE conference. And just a little bit of background as far as ISTE Librarians Network. It's it's one of the coolest associations. We're going to tell you more about that tonight. And it's not something, I hope it maybe even be a new topic for some of you out there, because honestly, it was new to me. In 2013 is actually when I was introduced to ISTE and ISTE Lib. So if you're out there in TL Chat world and you've never heard of it, that's okay. We're going to tell you lots and lots about it tonight. I want to pass the mic over to somebody that's going to be familiar to you, because we have had him on as a guest anchor many times during the year. So I'm going to pass it over to Jonathan Werner. He is our president-elect.
Hey, I'm Jonathan. I'm in the other corner up closest to Donna. I live in Portland, Maine, and I work in Cape Elizabeth, Maine, just down the road. Like Sherry, because I gave her the title, I'm a library and instructional technology specialist. Right now I work half-time in our middle school and half-time in our high school, but I have an embarrassment of riches in that I have 2 full-time people in each of those buildings, so 1.5 of each of us. We're talking about the lower third. My upper half is in one building, my lower half in the other. And like Sherry, I didn't know anything about the Librarians Network until I walked into the breakfast, and Sherry said, "Hey, I'm Sherry Gick. How's it going, Jonathan?" And I was like, "Hi, how are you? Remember the one we talked about the job description? Right, what's up?" So like her, I really had no concept, and I would say that this multi-coastal national group has really transformed my practice completely in the course of the last 3 years that I've been a part of it.
Next, I'd like to pass the mic to Donna MacDonald, our past president.
Okay, hi, I'm Donna MacDonald, and I'm in South Burlington, Vermont at a K-5 school. And, you know, I was thinking about did I first join ISTE? And actually, I joined NEC. So I'm dating myself. That was a long time ago. So I think it might have been maybe 2009 or so when it was NEC. And my first time going was in Seattle, Washington. So I don't think Craig was there then. But that was my first experience with the Librarians Network. But I've been on the leadership team for 3 years now and loving it. But I'm going to say goodbye this year. I'm finishing up my 3rd year with the Librarians Network. Maybe I'll take on a little bit of a different role, so time will tell. And that's me.
Thank you, Donna. Okle Miller, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with ISTE?
Okay. I'm unmuted, right? I'm coming through? Okay.
Yes. Sounds good.
My name is Okle Miller, and the first ISTE conference I went to was in Atlanta because I'm based in Tampa, Florida, so it was relatively close for me to go to it. And being in ISTE Lib is just expanded everything. I teach in a really large school district, and even though there's over 200 over 200 schools in our school district, like 136 elementary schools. Yeah, we're huge. And we have a lot of support in our district. I learned so much from ISTE and reaching out to everyone outside of my district that it's just been a great couple of years. And I am the professional development co-chair with Alyssa. And so that has really opened up my teaching and just made me a better librarian. And now back to Sherry.
Thanks, Okle. And I'm checking the bottom, and Alyssa is not back yet, so I will pass it over.
She is.
Oh, she is. Alyssa, where are you? You're not on my screen.
What? Don't forget Jackie.
That's what I said. It's where somebody said Alyssa's back. I'm not seeing Alyssa, so I am going to pass it to Jackie and let Jackie introduce herself and tell us what she does with ISTE.
My name is Jacqueline Liesch. I'm a middle school library media technology specialist in Madison, Wisconsin, and I have been a member of ISTE since 2012. My first conference was in San Antonio, and I first joined ISTE because I actually moved out of the country, and I taught for 2 years in Ecuador, so that was extremely isolating, being nursery through grade 12. So ISTE provided a ton of resources and opportunities to collaborate and reach out to other technology specialists.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline. Nikki says she can see Alyssa. I can't see Alyssa. Alyssa, if you can grab the mic and introduce yourself, go for it.
Am I here?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
I can't see her either. That's
I
weird.
can't see her.
What?
Who can see Alyssa? I can.
I can!
Jonathan sees you. Okle sees you.
I can't. You're
I
invisible.
cannot see you, Alyssa.
Please tweet us if you can see Alyssa, because I'm afraid we're all.
I feel like it's Where's Waldo?
I hear you fine, though, Alyssa.
Well, that's awesome. You can hear me.
So, Alyssa, Jackie was just talking about the newsletter, and Okle was talking about the professional development co-chair. What did you want to add, just in introduction-wise?
I am the other co-chair of the PD Library and ISD Librarian Network, if you can see me. Oh, now Sherry's saying she can't even hear me. So what am I doing? I might be talking to nobody.
Alyssa, I can hear you fine, so go ahead.
Okay,
I can see and hear you.
So everybody just fill in, because I have no idea what Alyssa's saying. So when she says bad things about me, please let me know.
So I'll try not to say bad things about Sherry, but I am the co-chair of the ISD Librarian Network. I have been for now, God, is it almost 3 years? Okle came on this year to help out because I was running for Board of Ed and doing other things, and so she's been awesome and has helped out doing this. But for me, it's been a really great experience because it was like I finally found my people. When I went to ISD, it was like, I found my people. Look, there's librarians that also like technology. It was a really good thing. So I liked it. And then now Sherry's gone, so I don't even know.
You know what? This is just a great example for us to say, you know what? Technology happens, but we're going to go on and move with it too. Now let's all tell Sherry we can't see or hear
I know, we should tell Sherry we can't.
So I think probably we have a couple of questions we wrote down that we wanted to make sure we discussed. And I think probably the best one to start with is, what is ISD, number one? And then connected to that, what is ISD Librarians Network, and why should librarians be interested in ISD? What is ISD, first off? Who can answer that question for us?
I can. Now, can you hear and see me?
Yes, we can.
Hold on.
Ready to go!
So ISTE is the International Society for Technology and Education, and as Alyssa said, I felt totally isolated as a librarian and as a teacher as well before I found it. I didn't even realize that my state affiliate, which is Actum, was connected to the national organization, because I was more affiliated with our school library network, and it is not connected to ISTE. So we're working on that. But like Alyssa, I would say that I felt like I was a crazy person, and it turns out that I was just in the wrong asylum, and I needed to find these people who really spoke my language. And one of the first things, oh wow, I guess Nikki thought that was good. One of the first things I did was go to the breakfast where we learned about zombie librarians from Jennifer Lagarde, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's it. I need to slay the zombie librarians. And if I can do that and be a part of a group of people who want to do that, then I'm in the right place. So the question that came up for us is sort of, where do you start with this? And I think the first thing you do is connect to us digitally. That before I had any real chance to meet people, I met them at the breakfast and then I got on the plane and left. Over the course of that next year, I really had the opportunity through social media and through TL chat and through ISTE Lib events to connect and feel like I could really pick up the Twitter phone and say, the bat phone, you know, Sherry, what am I doing? How do I do this? Alyssa, and that for me was really the key, that I had this kind of instantaneous PLN available to me. And I think the part that would have been totally, if you haven't been to ISTE, isn't it, it's like 20,000 attendees, and I tend to exaggerate, but I think it's actually 20,000 attendees. And I think I walked something like 16 miles inside the two convention centers. So for a first-time attendee, pick a thread. Pick something you want to follow for librarian events, and follow those. Go to the people that you care about as speakers, no matter what they're speaking about, and just get a sense of what it looks like to have live conversations with these people that you know on Twitter. So for me, Chris O'Neill, for example, someone I've admired for a really long time, went to his session. I can't even remember what he was talking about, but I remember thinking, this is another one of my people. And really, if you leave the conference with that sense of camaraderie and really just kind of like the digital Valium of, okay, I can do this, these people are on my side, having that advocate sensibility with your professional network is really the thing I found most valuable.
I totally agree, Jonathan. And I think I met you with Jennifer's presentation there. That was the first time I met you.
I was just thinking,
didn't he help with like the
yes,
computer?
what a funny story. If that was his first time and he was the one that jumped up and fixed all the technology problems, and we're like, who is this guy?
Exactly. We have to have him on board. We love him.
And Jennifer's like, why are you touching my stuff? What's your deal? I'm like, I'm just fixing it. I'm sorry.
I know. And it was like, who is this guy? We need to have him on the team.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you're here, Jonathan.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as far as we talk about joining ISTE, and we love our associations. As far as, like Jonathan said, I'm active in my local association and my state association, and my state association had just begun getting involved in ISTE, and so that experience of going to the ISTE conference and not having it just be librarians, we love you, but a lot of us are trying to be embedded in our schools, and so it's really important to make sure that we expand those connections and make sure that we're connecting with administrators, with superintendents, with classroom teachers, with teachers at all levels, and ISTE allows you to do that. And nobody looks down their noses at you because you're just a librarian in a school. We're all equals, and having that camaraderie, like Jonathan said, as far as finding your tribe, but being able to connect and have those types of conversations with so many education thought leaders that are always there at the face-to-face conference.
I agree with you. I went to my first conference, in Atlanta. San Antonio was my first. And it really was. It was like, I would go to these library conferences, and don't get me wrong, I love a good library conference, but it would be, a lot of it would be like authors and a lot of book discussions, and I'm all for that, but I also love technology and learning new things and trying out new things, and I always felt like I didn't fully fit into those conferences. And so when I went to ISTE for the first time, it was like, oh my God, I found people that get it, that get me, that want to try the new technology too and want to do all of this, and there's a session about something that I'm really interested in. And I mean, there are sessions about everything. You name it with technology, there's a session about it at ISTE. And it was just like I had finally found like my people. And it just felt like, okay, because all too often I was running into those zombie librarians that Jennifer talks about who wanted everything to stay the same, didn't believe in technology, only believed about books. And I always was like, if you don't become the tech leader in your building, you're going to be in trouble. And because that's the way things are going. And so it was like, this was the place. And I was connecting with not only librarians, but with, as Sherry was saying, with superintendents, teachers, principals, professors, lots of great companies and all of that, and it just was really like, here it is. So I think I went up to like Tiffany and Donna and all of them, and is like, whatever I could do to help you, because I finally found my people, and that's how I sort of became part of it.
One of the questions that's up there is, where do you start? And I would say it's kind of a two-part thing. The first one is during the conference, follow hashtag, if you can't be there, or even if you can, follow the hashtag ISTELIB. And that'll give you a sense of sort of what's happening, what people are presenting, what they're talking about. But a second piece, and if you are able to attend, the first library event that happens is the playground,
Yes.
which I'm in charge of. And the capacity to have the one-on-one conversations. We have 24 stations of people telling us about their best practices, all the great things that they do. And I just tweeted out the link for the information, but also it's a great way to jump in. You can present at this. It's very low pressure. People just walk up to you and ask questions. Last year I talked about my experience transforming our traditional library into a learning commons and how we began to merge the technology. And my job, my title is Library and Instructional Technology Specialist, really looking at, I feel like a lot of my work is to blur the lines between those things. So when we do research, we mean both in books and we mean digital. When we do reliability questions, we're looking really at the technology enhancing the analog and vice versa. So that for me, seeing that face-to-face, 24 really great professionals giving me direct advice, answering my questions, is a fantastic place. So that's Monday, the first day, the first full day of the conference from 8 to 11:30. And if you can get to any of the playgrounds, they're all fantastic. We have some hands-on.
Okay, I'm gonna call time. I'm gonna call time on the playground, and if you can't get there, we will be sharing the information. So those 24 different stations, like Jonathan's saying, follow the hashtag, but maybe we're too busy while we're at the playground to be tweeting every little detail. So afterwards, this is something we did last year, was every presenter that kind of shared some information and had different things, we will share that within, we'll get that back out to you guys that aren't face-to-face at the conference, so you can see the types of resources that have been openly shared so that everybody can benefit from that. Because we always say, you know, we're strong because together we're together. We're never alone with this hashtag and with our network. Time in. Back to you, Jonathan.
I will say, Sherry, that one of the things I've gotten the most out of when I've attended ISTE is the playground. And I've noticed that it's not just librarians that come to our playground, but everybody comes to our playground. Just like in our school, everybody comes to our library. For every subject area, administrator, whatever, the library is where it's at. And our playground is no different. And sometimes those lines at ISTE just to get into a session are ridiculous. And, you know, it's kind of like going to Disney and only riding 2 rides because you spend the rest of your time there in line. Same thing with ISTE. But if you really get the most learning in the most amount of time, in the least amount of time, then go straight for the playground areas.
And exactly, and not just ours. I mean, because it's my favorite place to visit. And there are, what are we up to, Donna, now? Like 18 different networks in ISTE, as far as there's all different kinds of playgrounds going on that you can attend. I don't know that there's 18 different playgrounds, but I know that there are a lot of different associations, different SIG-Libs or whatever we're calling ourselves this week. But plenty of playgrounds, and they're my favorite thing to go to because, like Nikki said, first of all, short attention spans, so squirrel, I like to go to one table and learn something and then go somewhere else. But you can get lots of bite-sized learning from so many different people in such a short amount of time. So we definitely recommend those playgrounds.
I'll say one other quick thing. Jennifer Lagarde's Zombie Librarian conversation, and I'll tweet out the link to that in a minute, was fantastic. But Shannon was our keynote last year. And the other piece that I really love about this is someone really inspiring. And Shannon talked last year about being student-centered, which I think is sometimes really easy to forget in a technology world. And we're sort of running around. And she brought us back around and said, what are we doing for these kids? And I thought that was such a great reminder. So there's a really nice balance. The keynote addresses are fantastic, I think, in a way that sometimes they're not so much at bigger conferences. So that piece of it too, to walk out feeling like a foot taller, I just think is a great opportunity. And Sherry, you want to say a word about this year's breakfast?
This year's breakfast, our keynote speakers are, we're having 2 guys and some iPads, who, if you did attend last year's conference, they made a huge splash at Alyssa's augmented reality part of the playground.
We had fun together.
Drew and Brad will be there, and Jonathan, do you want to take over? I'm hearing that my audio may be a little iffy.
Oh, so it's Drew Minnock and Brad Wade, two tech guys who are our keynotes this year. And you can watch the very formal process in which Sherry hands me the throne and crown. It's going to be very beautiful. But then their keynote
It's a wig. It's a strawberry blonde wig. There's no crown. It's all about the hair.
Wait until you see what I have. You're going to be so good.
I can't wait.
I'm taking the challenge, and it's over the top. By the way, this is a joke about the fact that all the women across the bottom here, with the exception of about one, have reddish blonde hair. And I realized that this is not really going to work, so we're going a different route for the conference. Just you wait.
Well, there's a reddish tint to what's left of my hair. I wanted to jump in and ask, because this will be my first ISTE, switching over from all the other ALA stuff, and ask, I've always followed Steve Hargadon very closely, and he does an ISTE Unplugged.
Yes, that is
how many
awesome.
of you interact with that, because I find him to be a real thought leader in that wider conversation of education.
So I'm going to tell you that, and I am so upset this year that I can't go to it, because I am also now this year the rep for my our school library, New Jersey School Library Association. So I'm the ISTE rep, so I have to go to the rep meeting all day on Saturday along with my girl Sherry.
I was going to say, but it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. But I have to say, and because that's a good thing, and I mean, like, I'm excited to go to that. But I am missing Steve Hargadon's ISTE Unplugged, which is honestly, I think, my favorite event of ISTE. I learned the most, I think, at that event, and it's real. I mean, like, all the thought leaders are at this thing, and it's all participation driven. And, you know, who wants to talk about what? There is no schedule. There is no one lecturing. You're all sitting down, and you find, like, a corner of the room, and you're just sitting together on the floor and discussing topics that you want to discuss. And
also, the mobile mega share is that day, too.
I know, and that's
awesome.
good, too. And I'm going to have to miss that, too. But
I will be there.
Donna, you're going to get me my, like, prize.
I'll be there.
The gift bag. Because they have good gift bags. But yeah, those, I mean, very good, worth going to. I'm telling you, go to it if you can. And it's the Saturday, so some people aren't in or not, but I tell you.
I think we've done a lot of covering as far as what to do when you're at the conference. There are other events. Donna, can you tell us a little bit more about other Librarians Network events that are happening while we are in Colorado, and then we'll begin to talk a little bit about what's happening the other 11 months of the year.
– Did we lose Donna?
Donna, unmute.
Sorry, but I had no idea what Sherry just said. I couldn't hear her at all. Was there a question?
Donna, what she was asking is, can you tell us the other events that are going on at ISTE this year? Like, what else is going on? So, like, do you remember we're doing, you know, the
social event?
Social
on
event.
Monday night?
Yes.
Yes, you got to come to the social event Monday night. I don't remember the details of it, though.
We'll tweet it out.
Okay. That's going to be fabulous. Tuesday we don't have anything special going on, but then, of course, there's that fabulous breakfast.
Isn't Tuesday usually we do the...
We don't have a forum this year.
What?
No.
What happened?
Maybe next year. We'll have to gather and do something special.
This is what happens when Alyssa doesn't make the ISTE meetings.
That's it. That's it. We'll do something at the condo, Alyssa. We'll have a big party.
Oh my God, we should do a party on Tuesday.
There we go.
We should. Oh, by the way, people, just so you know, a lot of us on this conference call, a number of us, are having the ISTE librarian playground. It's like the real world ISTE librarian house and condo house. So it's going to be a really interesting event.
People, you have to join the ISTE Librarians Network. It's just so much fun.
We do. We have a lot of fun.
We do.
It really is. Tips for an ISTE first-timer. I would say don't plan your wedding during ISTE.
That was
Leave
good.
ISTE and get married 4 days later.
How about that long train you made?
Could you please tweet that picture?
That was the best. We had so much fun.
I'm just saying, it's not the best thing to plan your wedding and then get married right after ISTE, because then people are mad at you. Like the people you're marrying mad at you. Any other advice?
Okay, here's a few pieces of advice. Whatever bag you're bringing, make it a rolling bag or a backpack. You don't want to be carrying something else. Because it's too heavy and you're walking too far. Don't really care about your shoes unless you're presenting at you're really like the one presenting. You got to wear comfy shoes because you're going to be walking really far. Bring a sweater or a sweatshirt with you also, because it's always cold in those things in there.
Even if it's 90 outside.
Even if it's 90 outside, it's like freezing, and or at least for me, it's always freezing in the place.
Hashtag Atlanta.
Yes, Atlanta was freezing.
Bring food and water because
Yeah.
it's very expensive.
True. Water is always good. Bring a water bottle with you. There's always places to fill up with the water bottle or something like that, even if it's just a plastic one. Don't bring like a good one, because like I had a nice little one that I had like brought with me, and within the first 2 minutes I had lost it. So like, you know, when you're traveling in, get the big bag, you know, the big bottle of water for wherever, and just keep filling that up. You know, probably.
How about high altitude issues, Shannon? Should we be concerned about sunscreen and things like that?
Sunscreen, and you should also, I was going to say, drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
That helps.
I was reading to have potassium too, like bananas and things. Is that supposed to be good for
Never
high
heard.
altitude?
My thing is, if I just drink a ton of water, and like just extra like moisturizer.
True. Also,
that's the difference, and Denver's so nice because we can walk around so much, you know, so that's really nice, but you never know. Usually it's nice and warm, but like Alyssa said, it's good to have always like have you know, layers also. And another tip, the train just opened from the airport, so it's $9 to take the train from the airport down to Union Station, which is right on 16th Street. And even if which is the main kind of street from downtown, right by the convention center. But even if like you're staying outside of that, like I know that a lot of you are staying on 16th Street. But even if you're not, you can still take an Uber. Everything is so close that you'll be able to take an Uber for a few dollars. But that would be, it's really slick. We took it one day, and it was fun.
And Sherry said don't overschedule and to take time for those impromptu PLN sessions. But in that same vein, if you do schedule something, set some sort of alarm or reminder for yourself, because otherwise you'll get so involved in conversation with other people, and you know that whole squirrel, you know, you will completely forget the things you had scheduled to actually attend.
I think I attend like 3 things total in my time there usually, because I get into conversations with people or meet up with people, and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't go to that session, or I'm speaking at a session, and it just. And it's okay if you don't get to everything. It's really okay. It's it's not going to be a huge loss if you don't go to everything. And let me tell you, another big one. The keynotes. Don't freak out if you can't get into the keynote, or I don't even half the time try to get through the line to go into them. They are showing the
still. We can't be quiet.
Yeah, and they're showing the keynotes at like other spots around the convention. They have like TVs hooked up all over the place that is showing the keynote addresses. So, you know, if you don't want to go to the, you know, like wait in line for the big keynote itself, go and watch it at one of the TVs, and, you know, it's a lot nicer and not as many people.
And sometimes a lot more fun, too.
Yeah, it is.
One more thing that I just thought of, too, is take time to go to the vendor hall.
Yeah.
Because you learn so much about like new digital tools and new products out there, and they have freebies and giveaways, and you can make friends with them too, which will help you throughout the year, because you know that also brings so much to your kids and to the library. And look at the events that they have. Like, you don't even need to like buy yourself dinner and lunch a lot of the times, because you can watch the events, and it doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of time there, but even just making those connections is so valuable to do. I know that that was a big part of also just building my PLN, and still is at ISTE and at big conferences, because that really brings a lot back to your libraries and to your kids too. And so take time for that. And they're already starting to talk about events, and they're tweeting, and so follow the hashtag. Is the hashtag, do you guys think 2016, or is it?
It is. It's ISTE 2016.
Yeah, that's the official hashtag, but they're also tweeting with ISTE16.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Both are going on.
I gotta look for events.
I've been tweeting for 2016 because I thought that's what it would be, but
Yeah, that's the official one.
Okay.
So Sherry's connection isn't letting her talk all the time, which is rare. And so, since she's muted, I can talk smack. I want to shift the focus a little bit to what happens the other 11 months of the year. First of all, I want to say one of the things that happens the other 11 months of the year, can you see this? This is a little lacrosse game here the other day. I was like last weekend, because it is hideously cold. And the other 11 months of the year, ready? Good segue. We keep warm with one another.
Oh.
Thank you.
That was so cheesy. It was
I
good.
know. It was so cheesy. It was good. So I want to make sure we have a chance to talk about a few other things. One of which is the newsletter and all that that provides. And since Jackie has not had an opportunity, I'll let her jump in and talk a little bit about what happens there. And to say, too, that really thinking about, even if you can't set foot in Denver, this network, as I think I said a little bit ago, is really a remarkable, literally a net to catch you. You put out a question, and it takes me usually, on a bad day, 30 seconds to get a response from someone in the network. Bigger questions, too. I said I would be lost with my makerspace without having found the support I have. Laura Fleming in New Jersey, who just gave me this huge boost. And so one of the things the newsletter does for us is kind of flag those bigger questions and give you great resources and gurus to find for the various areas you want to expand into. And I think especially as you begin, I think Alyssa said, to figure out how to make yourself integral and really invaluable within your schools, the newsletter is almost like a catalyst for that, to say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Do you know that this resource exists? And I think big picture, that's how it works. But Jackie will tell us a little bit about the specifics and how we can get involved in that area too.
Thank you, Jonathan. So we have our last issue coming up. It'll be published right before ISTE, and the theme for the end of the school year is always professional development. So whether that's highlighting professional development that you have led at your school, or something that you're looking forward to learning more about at ISTE, that's what we really focus on for the May issue. We are still accepting proposals for articles until May 20th, so that's the end of this week. And more information is always found on the Librarians Network Weebly, which is just librariansnetwork.weebly.com /newsletter. So after the yearly conference, I'll send out an email asking for more volunteers if you want to, with an editing. I have a committee of probably 5 or 10 people that help edit all of the articles. So if you want to be involved but you don't necessarily want to do jump in that far, that's how I first started with the newsletter, is just helping edit each of the issues. So that's a really valuable piece as well.
Great, thank you. One other. Ooh, now I'm hearing myself in an echo, which is not a good thing. Do you hear me twice or just myself?
If everyone will mute their mics, except for the one speaking, that should solve the issue.
Better? Oh, thank you, whoever did that. So 2 other areas that, as we look forward into the next year, leadership team has been talking about really partnering with administration. And so Sherry mentioned earlier the opportunity to meet those people, but I think really making a concerted effort. Librarians Network is actually the biggest network of any of the ones in the ISD collection, but the administrative network is really a fantastic group of people, and I mentioned Chris O'Neill earlier. He heads that up. So opportunities to really get a sense of what their priorities are could be really valuable to us, of course, since they have decision-making power. We have in Maine actually an award from our MASL, our Maine Association of School Libraries, to an administrator who is a leader for library support. And that's an area where I think Sherry and I and Donna have talked about expanding a really intentional connection with administration. And then a second area is really to diversify as much as we can. There's no reason why you need to be a librarian per se. Unlike many ALA, for example, ALA or ASL, the ASL, you don't need to pay to be in any of the subnetworks, and the resources that come out of them, there's a daily digest that are really, really invaluable. So I think getting ourselves connected to people that don't necessarily see their own connections to libraries. And there's this Nikki woman who talks a lot about telling your story, and how she mentioned earlier, we're our own media, but to quote her, or paraphrase, she said that if you have an opportunity to tell your story, you're replacing those people that are dying to tell it, and the story they tell is never going to be as good as your own. So take a look at any of the people you see up here on the screen and the really concerted efforts they make to put themselves out on social media and to make an effort to be publicly known for all the great things they do. I think you look at any of the people who are listed here, but take Sherry, for example. She talks about everything from the hilarious tweet she had today of, anyone guess what I'm doing? And there's stacks and stacks of books on top of her shelves. Clearly she's weeding. And those opportunities just to sort of see each other out there, but to know that we are doing the traditional library things, we're doing the 21st century library things, we're a makerspace, I mentioned, we're looking at the 4 C's and ways in which we can make communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and what I missed? Creation, collaboration, creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking, a part, really an integral part of our work. To that end, this year's hashtag for ISTLib at the meeting is hashtag can't shush this. You all just saw MC Hammer, I know you did. But the sensibility of those 4 C's you cannot do in a silent library, and not that we don't have critical roles as providing that space, but if that's all we're doing, we are inviting zombie librarians in. And I think, as Alyssa said, when you find these people that are connected to technology, the other thing they are, as you can see from this group, is vibrant, really social connected people that want to find one another. And I think if we get that sensibility that we are reinventing the libraries, big picture for me, ISTLib is all about redefining what we do, not to eschew the work we did before. I mean, I can't tell you the number of amazing author chats. Alyssa was saying that's such a central part of conferences. Using technology to bring those people in, it is incredible who will be a part of your library if you take that opportunity. And ISTLib has been a great way for me to find who those authors are and how to get them into my library face-to-face. So that kind of thing, where you think about your traditional role, expanding that to be something bigger, ISTE is all about nurturing those connections and getting you to the right person who can help you find that resource. Because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have had not the first clue how to, I didn't know what a makerspace was, I don't think, until I wandered into the playground and Donna's like, ooh, makerspace. And I thought, oh, wow, that's awesome. She's also introduced me to bots in that role. So I think really seeing how your traditional seed grows into something that becomes, Nikki said, the place everyone visits, the place everyone wants to visit, because you're offering what other people aren't. This group of people for me has really been all about redefining myself among friends, but also venturing into areas where I didn't at all feel comfortable and finding the resources through these people to not look like an idiot. When I say makerspace now, I do know what I'm talking about, and I'm not, well, not always making stuff up on the fly.
And remember, we have monthly webinars and Twitter chats, too, that Alyssa handles that are fabulous. This month's was amazing with our 2 award winners. Nice job on that one, Alyssa.
Thank you.
So Donna
really
and Alyssa,
good.
real quick, we have a question from Twitter from Brenda McPherson Fry. She wants to know first off, how do we sign up for the newsletter, and then the professional development that you were just mentioning, how would a person get involved with that and know about that? And
So,
can we tweet out those links so that they'll know?
somebody will tweet out the links. Oh my God, your dog is so cute, Jonathan. And we will tweet out the links, but we actually have archived all of our PD information for you. So you can go back and watch webinars from a while ago. Everything is free and open to everybody. And so we have like the last 2 to 3 years of webinars we did all online for anyone to watch, and they're all on different topics. Last month's was on with our winners, and they talked about sort of what they're doing in their libraries. We've had on all different topics discussing lots of different things throughout the years that we've been doing this, and you can go back and watch them. They're PD right there for you, free. You don't even need to be part of ISTE to watch these webinars, which we have put out for you, because we believe so much as librarians in sharing with everybody that we wanted to make it so that even if you weren't a member of ISTE, you could get those. And we've sort of like, ISTE, I don't even know if they fully know that we do that, but that's okay. Now they probably do. But we've just done it because we believe that much in the process of sharing with other librarians, because we know that what it's like to be the only librarian in the building and the only one to talk to, and not having that person to go to ask questions or to get information or to, have a PD from. I mean, I'm the only librarian really in my district. So there's no PD for me, really, unless I have, these type of things that I can do. So, that's why we have done this at ISTE, and that's why TL Chat is also available for free for everybody, too. It's just resources that we've made available to everybody. And those are available for you. We try to do them once a month. We haven't been as great this year, but we've done a number of them. And then we also sort of stay on Twitter after to answer questions that anyone may have. Sometimes we run over. We try to be a half hour, but sometimes we run over because the conversation's so good. And I think that's about, it for us. Oh, we need to wrap up so Eric can talk for 5 minutes more. Oh, my love, Eric, is going to join us. Well, really, Shannon's love. But we all love him here at the ISTE Librarian Network and at TL Chat. He's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the cool vendor stuff that's going on. So, Shan, you want to take over?
Absolutely.
Hi, Eric!
Hi!
Hi!
It's only here that I notice I have a piece of hair sticking straight in the air. How was it I noticed that on that little TV square and not in a full-size mirror?
And Eric, you're actually kicking off for us something we want to start next season, which is giving the last 5 minutes or so to a vendor, because vendors are so important to us as librarians. And so this is something that's going to become a regular part of of the show next season.
How
So
very
thank you for
nice.
being our first.
I hope I can set a nice precedent. Well, I promise not to talk for 5 minutes or even 4 minutes. But I just wanted to update everyone on things happening with Capstone. We're very excited. We just released our Pebble Go Animals, Animales. So it's the Spanish version of Animals, which is the first time we've done that. And the two work really well together. Animals and Animales, you can flip between Spanish and English. So that's already out. For this summer and probably to release at ISTE, we'll be talking a little bit about Pebble Go Next, which is our intermediate grade database. We have a new science module coming out. And the same time that releases, we'll be updating the States and Native Americans database that was already out for Next with a new user interface and some more articles. So we've got 3 big things happening with Pebble Go.
Scan read and
Yes, and then we also have C-Scan Read, which we just released with Capstone Interactive. So what that does is allow you to use your Capstone Interactive account. You can print out posters that you can put in a 3-ring binder or in a display on a board, or even attach to kids' work. And using the Capstone Interactive app, you can scan a barcode and it will launch the ebook. So it's kind of a nice way to bridge.
And you can personalize the posters.
Yes.
Think about it like for summer reading or for like guided reading groups, or I mean, there's like a billion ways that you could use them.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about them on my blog a couple of weeks ago, but super, super neat thing. That's really cool.
The other thing is the barcode that we pre-print on the back of a print book will also work. So you don't just have the posters, you also have physical books that you can scan with that app, and it will launch the ebook. So imagine a scenario where 30 people are trying to do a report on pond aquatics and want the exact same frog book at the exact same moment. If you have the one book and the ebook, you can go around and just launch it just right from that print book. So it's a great way to bridge digital and print.
Yeah, and I don't know if I might have missed it, but remember, guys, how we usually have to have like the QR code? It's just the normal barcode. So like I tested it on an older book that I had that's probably 3 years old, 2 years old, and it worked. So all you have to do is scan that barcode.
Can you tweet out that link to your blog where you talk about this?
I will. Yep.
And I'll give you a little background on why we chose, instead of doing the QR code, to use a barcode. We wanted to make sure if you already own the book that there was no retrospective conversion kind of label or relabel process that had to happen. It's just the barcode on the book is already there and ready to go. So we thought it'd be easier for people to launch that without having to rework it.
And I just tweeted out a link to Pebble Go Science. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, super cool.
I am too. We've seen mock-ups. It's such a strange thing coming from a print publishing world to be in the digital publishing world. All the pieces and parts exist, and I keep saying, can we just see a sample of an article? And they say, no, you can't. It's all over the place. They push a button, it renders, and suddenly we have a functional thing. So we're all very excited about it. It looks great. The mock-ups I've seen look amazing. And then the other thing we're doing at Capstone is we've got one of our biggest seasons ever this fall. We've got 600 titles that are all getting finished up and sent off to the printer. So it's all hands on deck right now in our creative department, getting those books done.
Could I go back and just ask you to clarify? So we scan a book for a class, and that whole class can load it? Like right then they'll have their own copy?
Thank you for asking that. We sell the book in an interactive ebook form and a print form. If you own both, then yes. And the interactive is unlimited simultaneous use. So that and you can have kids at home, you can have kids all across the building, and you could have 50 of them launch the same book at the same time. As we know, I mean, that's how nonfiction gets used. It's like everyone's in there looking at things.
So I was going to say, to that end, talk about ways to make yourself invaluable. Imagine if you could go to a teacher and be like, actually, here we go, boom, and the class has it.
Print off
That's
a
nuts.
poster. You can print, like, you could make a poster for a teacher, and like you know, they want to use a couple books. Print off those posters, bring those down to the teachers, and they have an automatic. I mean, it even has a place for the kids to like do writing. You can change the title, like any teacher with that.
When I was reading the other day and I pulled down current issues in the USSR, maybe I could instantly update that to something a little more useful.
Say that. It might be really cool someday to look back.
Wait, I have like just thrown out a gazillion of those.
Yeah.
If you've been following my Twitter, you'll see some of my fun reading ones. Now, Eric, does that include Mayan? Because my district has Mayan. So all of the Mayan books, is that sort of work with the same thing with the ebooks?
They don't. That's not something that works in Mayan. It's similar ebooks, but the functionality is different in Mayan.
Okay, because I know that aren't you guys sort of related to Mayan? Or am I getting this wrong?
Yeah. Mayan is a part of Capstone.
Okay.
It's a different division than the library division. But it's a lot of similar content. And the functionality is different. We all use the same books. Some of the same books, but I guess the use case is different for each. Mayan's designed more to be a reading assessment product, and Capstone Interactive more a library book use case.
Oh, if we could tell your people, I want my scanning abilities. Come on.
Yeah.
I wanted to work together.
I'm thinking there was one other thing about. Just to share another use case that we talked about a lot when we were launching this feature. We all have, when collaboration is happening, we've seen libraries putting books on carts or pulling things out and saying, going to the teachers, hey, I've got everything ready, it's right here, just take it. A 3-ring binder, like Shannon was saying, with all those posters printed out, can just launch that for the teachers immediately. So very, very fun. I guess the other big news, I kind of was thinking of news for you all. The other big news is we're right now working on rebuilding Collection Wiz, which is our collection development tool. And it already works really well. It's probably the most intuitive, simple collection development tool out right now. The thing we're building now is to expand and improve the reporting. Is what we're trying to focus on and give you more data, kind of big data for library collection management. So have a lot of people working on that right now. We're still in the discovery phase, so it'll be probably this fall before you start seeing improvements there. But I'm very excited about that. I love Collection Wiz and data-based decision making.
This is awesome. Make sure too, when you tweet out this information, let's include the TLELEM chat, which is a teacher library elementary chat, so that it goes directly towards our elementary librarians as well. We have about 2 minutes left. Thank you, Eric, very much for sharing all that fantastic information with us. It makes some of us want to go back and do elementary school library just so we can get our hands on all this. But we're going to try Sherry again, because she's wanting us to go around if we have something cute or silly a student has said to us this school year and share that. And she had something really adorable, I think, to share. And so we're going to cross our fingers, and everybody's going to think really hard that Sherry's sound is going to work.
Because I get to go into elementary classes, since we're K-12 across my school building. I visited a first grade class this week, and I had just grabbed my lanyard and taken it off and put it back on. And the first question that the little girl asked me was, Mrs. Gick, have you been sleeping in your library? Because apparently, Eric, I had a big piece of hair like this sticking straight out. And so that was, I thought about Donna, of course, living in the library, and she was, and the teacher was just like flummoxed. She was like, "Oh, we don't say that." And I was like, "No, you better tell me if my hair looks bad, sweetie." So that was my fun thing this week. So she thinks I'm working so hard. I'm living in the library. So
Donna MacDonald.
Yes, Donna.
I'm here. I'm always here.
Okay, so the joke is, just to fill everybody in, that every ISTE librarian meeting we have ever had, that we do them all via Google Hangout, and Donna.
Not really.
Yeah,
not every.
Okay, everyone that I have ever been to. Donna
That's right, you've missed a few.
never left her library. So I am convinced that Donna, though she says she has a home, she does not. She really lives in the library. And until it is
The
proved
secret
to me,
is out.
until it's proved to me otherwise, I will still be convinced of that.
Mm.
Until I literally see the house. Like, she posts pictures sometimes and tries to convince me that this is her house, but I have yet to see it, so I am convinced. So that's the joke that we're all discussing, just so you guys know.
Yep.
Well, we are out of time. Is there anyone who wants to quickly say a little quick tidbit or something a student has said to them this year to end out the evening?
I'll say that we went to the school board. We make a point of every year going to present what we're doing on the Nikki's theory of tell your story, no better place. And there are 2 students on the school board, and completely unprompted, the senior said to my colleague Carolyn Young, "Ms. Young, I could not have graduated without your help." And Carolyn starts crying in front of the school board. But talk about getting your story right. Carolyn has some decent job security right now from that. So, I mean, that's a great goal for all of us, is to have someone feel like we are a kid, feel like we're necessary, and then what more could you ask for?
I agree.
And Sue Levine, who is in New Zealand right now, which is why you don't see her on TL Newsnight, just sent out a link, and I'll tweet that out, to How Are You a Mentor? Librarians as mentors, and talking about that with students. And so, Jonathan, what you said plays right into that, so I'll make sure to get that link out tonight as well, because I think we have such an impact on students. And so seeing that and what our role is there. My little tidbit is I had a student this year say, "Miss Robertson, whenever I walk into this library, I feel like I've walked into a magical place." And matter of fact, the kids had me put up, "Welcome to the rabbit hole," in the entrance of the library.
That's nice.
All right. Anyone else before we say goodbye? Because Craig's going to see us out. But anyone else?
I got one.
Okay.
Real quick. I'm sure most of our checkout systems do a beep, when you check in and check out. And a group in our school email, we were talking about, "Oh, that beeping drives me crazy." And then I had a first grader come in, and I was scanning her books, and she goes, "Miss Miller, I love that beep sound because it means I get to take home a book." And so they were like, "Oh, we feel bad that we thought the beep was bad." The beeps are good because they love getting books.
You can make it say. You can make it say things.
I don't think I can on mine.
Destiny.
I don't know.
Wait,
I don't
you cannot
have
Destiny?
I don't have Destiny.
Wait, Sherry, I need to know how you can do it on Destiny. You're going to have to tell
Awesome.
me.
I'll look you up.
This is my first year without Destiny.
You got to
We're going to go, and I'm going to let Craig send us out for this season.
Wow, for the season. That's a wrap for the season. Be sure to join us in September when a special guest will be the Alaska Association of School Librarians, those amazing librarians to the north, Cheryl Wittig and company. And with that, we close out this season and thank all our guests and the lively conversation tonight. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.